You are listening to the Kentucky X-Files with hosts Dennis Mays, Tyler Stewart, and Josh Gibbs. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, so you never miss an episode. Now, on to our show.
Something that would be in the context of the supernatural.
He described it as being a gray, silver-looking, upright bipedal creature, dragging a deer out of that cave and going up the hill.
Where he goes, hey, I got a question for you. He goes, do you believe in demons?
And it takes one big step and vanishes. I'm like, oh my God, that was a Bigfoot.
And look at these pictures of this white creature.
Something 7'3" to 8 foot tall.
Right.
That, let's say it like.
And I'll tell you right now, if this was a bear, and this bear was standing on his hind legs, and he was running like a man, no, this wasn't no bear.
Now, when it stood up, that's when I knew it was a dog then.
Welcome back, guys, to the Kentucky X-Files.
We gotta invest in some sound effects. By now, you've heard our new intro from our most lovely Catherine, who does our intros.
So British.
Unless she really is. You know.
And she's a real person.
Yeah.
Because back when I was a fan of the show, I asked Denny that. I'm like,
is she real?
is that a real person? Or is that a
sure
I
computer?
wanted to actually message everybody saying it's me, but we just put a lot of
We put a lot of filters on him.
filters.
Yeah.
That's just Tyler. We just really edit his voice.
Boost the mids like crazy. Compressed it.
I had one person actually. It was funny because it was a close friend, and he's actually goes, "Dude, I want to talk to you about your intro lady." I'm like, yeah. What about her? You know, Catherine. Yeah, she's awesome. He's like, he's like, oh my God, her voice. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, I know. She jumps out. She's an audiobook narrator. She's a voiceover artist. You know, yeah, she's she's good at what she does. He's like, dude. He's like, every time I hear her intro the show, I fall in love with her. And I'm like, yeah, she's awesome. You know, he's like. But I can't help but wonder, you know, she's British, you know? I'm like, yeah. He's like, what does that have to do with the Kentucky anything? And I'm like, dude, come on, man. Let's not nitpick this.
That's true.
we wanted to sound professional. We don't want to bring you guys, you know, whatever. You know, what do you want us to do? You know, do you want us to go to Dollar General and just have somebody, you know, y'all are listening to the Kentucky X-Files. You know, I got to go get my smokes. You know what I mean? She's a she does this for a living. You know, she's good at it, and she's very, very gracious and helps us out whenever we need something. So, you know what? I want to send her a bunch of love right now. Thank you, Catherine, for making us sound awesome and possibly making us sound more handsome.
That is true.
I feel like she makes us sound handsome.
Yeah.
You know?
I sound debonair.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like she makes it sound like I'm in a suit.
I like the fact that he used the word debonair.
I really like that. Yeah. I'm a little like Mom that I didn't think of a big word. You know, I look photosynthesis.
We should have that in our repertoire.
Oh, God. Oh, now he's doing it. What did you start?
No, what you don't know is we went out yesterday and we spent $10 a piece on big words.
Wow. I can sound more photosynthesis too. You guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the show here. I know last episode I touched a little bit on it. I brought up a name that is infamous in a lot of stories, especially pertaining to the incident. It was in Virginia. It was in Virginia, right? West Virginia.
Yeah. Mothman's West Virginia.
It's on the Ohio, West Virginia, I believe. The Mothman incident in West Virginia, and Indrid Cold is the subject of what I've been researching over the last week. I know I'm usually all in on the big guy, and I still am, you know, and I'm trying to do what I can to try to yank the Dogman out of the bag and figure out what the hell's going on there too. But the reason I got interested was because I came across this random thing, and I know we've talked about Hopkinsville and the goblins.
Yeah.
You know that thing. Well, goblins came up in another search.
And it takes us back. I actually got it right here. It's August 21st, 1955, in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, which is the Kelly/Hopkinsville Goblin incident.
There you go. Yeah.
If you actually look it on there too, Hopkinsville is actually close to LBL.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff linked up here,
Yep.
and I thought that this was a little bit related, but the thing that got me interested in was the goblin thing. That's a really unique. I mean, if we're talking cryptids, that's a unique cryptid to come out. A goblin. Like, when do you ever hear of that? Turns out you hear about it quite a bit, but it's on the opposite side of the state, eastern Kentucky. Okay, now Tyler, you're gonna love this. Some of the stuff I found. One thing I got interested in, I found that there was another research team that made a documentary which is on YouTube called Hellier, and is named after the town or area, whatever you want to call it, in Kentucky called Hellier. And in Hellier, they received a anonymous email from a David Christie. All right, now David Christie and Indrid Cold have some similarities, and that's all explored throughout the documentary. The reason I found it so interesting was that not only do the goblins happen on both ends of the state, but they are in fact connected by a series of caves that run the entire span of the state.
Very interesting.
And I thought you might like that, knowing that a lot. The cave systems, apparently the emails that came in were very, very random and said, I keep finding these odd footprints coming out of the caves. These things are around my house. They're tormenting. They're doing all this stuff, they're blah, blah, blah. And the guy vanishes. All right. Another email started coming in, right? David Christie, and then this other name was Terry Wrist, which ended up being an anagram for terrorist, or anagram might be the wrong word there, but whatever. You get the gist of it. I started looking into it because I've been really interested in this tiny people thing along the Ohio River. There's a phenomenon that's apparently the opposite of Bigfoot. It's a tiny critters, little humanoid things that cause trouble and mischief and whatnot. And apparently there's quite a bit of sightings. So I started digging, started looking, right? And what I found was really interesting, not just because of the stories themselves. Always the story is interesting, but if you know me, you know that I like patterns. And what did I find? Hey, we got another pattern along the river. Here we are along a river again, seeing random, occurrences of these goblins, these little people, these fairies, or whatever you want to call them. Native Americans have their own version of it. The little people are not to be trusted. They're tricksters. They're mischievous. They actually hold the Bigfoot in higher regard, right? Going back to the Hellier documentary, I watched it. I was glued to it. I was really interested in it. I wanted to see what these guys found, and what they found, to some people might not think it was much, but to me, I thought that what they were looking for was goblins, but what they found was more valuable, in my opinion, and I don't even know if they noticed it, but there's a clear pattern, very clear pattern. The waterways, the behaviors, all these different things, some people, they attributed the sightings to UFOs. Mm-hmm. Now, last episode, we just talked about a UFO that happened right there in that time span here in Kentucky, That happens all the time. But the most interesting thing about it to me is that the UFO sightings in eastern Kentucky dried up right around the same time that the sightings dried up. The sightings were happening consistently. UFO sightings were happening consistently. All of a sudden, everything's quiet. Everything's gone. Why is that? This David Christie. Why are the messages so cryptic? Why is it so interesting? You know, the paranormal team that did the Hellier documentary, they received one that said it was after the first trip they took to Hellier to investigate on the ground. And they didn't find anything. They found a few leads. I think they left a little bit more confused than they were when they got there. But after they left, you know, a few weeks later, they got this random email that says, "Why did you give up when you were so close? I have something to show you." And then it was gone again. No contact. As far as what happened since, I don't know. I haven't got that far. But they brought up the similarities to Indrid Cold. And then I got interested because at first when they said the name, I was like, I know this name. Why do I know this name? And then it dawned on me. The Mothman, the random caller, the cryptic messages, Indrid Cold. So my question is, especially for you constant listeners, who the hell is Indrid Cold and why is Indrid Cold? The Mothman, huh? We've only had one big occurrence, and it was a monumental occurrence. I mean, the whole town is still devoted to this night. You know, this month or however long it went out, leading up to this big tragedy, and then it was over just like that. Why was it so important? What the hell is it? Was it warning or was it causing? Some people believe one or the other. I'd like to flesh it out. I'd like to see, you know.
I don't understand. Like, the one thing I don't understand is he, I guess if you will, like, it warned. And like, when did these? Did you look up? I don't know this, but I didn't know about the Indrid Cold thing. Like, I've heard the name before.
Yeah.
And I think I remember it being tied to it, but I never looked into it. But what is the? When was the, like, these phone calls?
That's it, Point Pleasant, yeah.
When was these phone calls made?
During the Mothman?
Yeah, the bridge.
It was all the way up till the bridge incident. It was randomly happening.
Yeah. So, two things were going on. These phone calls
and the sightings.
So, like, what? I don't get it. Why did? The only other thing that I'm, like, kind of tying this to, and this is a stretch since I don't know what's going on with what the Mothman is. Like, what type of thing he is. Did he know something about these particular people? Did he know that they were going to be on that bridge at that time? So that's why he contacted them?
I don't know.
And then, but why didn't he contact the ones that he showed himself to?
I think the one thing that gets me is how documented, just how many documented cases, you know, not just the sightings but the calls too, you know, the random calls, the messages, even all the way down to, I know a lot of people dismiss this, but the random dreams people were having, you know, that this person, this thing, Indrid Cold, was calling them and telling them, like, you know, hey, you know, basically, I mean, in a nutshell, if you go to this bridge on this day, you are going to die. And then, when the bridge failed, you could almost say, like, well, somebody sabotaged the bridge. When you actually go and look at the details of what actually happened with the bridge, we're talking, I mean, Josh, you're in construction. The thing that failed in the bridge was deep underground and in one of the columns.
Right.
I don't personally know how someone would sabotage that.
I don't think you could, because you'd have to be underwater to do it.
And they said that what had happened was it was like a main, like, pylon literally broke.
And those things are driven into the ground very deep. I don't know if you guys have ever been around a job site when they're driving pylons. But they're 50, 60 feet long, and they're driving them into the ground. You know, this isn't a 20-foot. This isn't your fence post, 2 foot in the ground. You know, they're 4 foot in the ground. This is a substantial amount of steel that's driven into the ground. And something else to consider too is the time that this happened. This was December of 1966-67.
Yeah.
That's the height of the Vietnam War. Christmas time. You know, there's a lot of people in the country that were concerned about loved ones that were over there.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of turmoil that was happening. So for everybody to be focusing on this, you kind of have to believe that whatever they saw or felt was real.
Yeah, they wouldn't have started to think about a pipe dream like that, or not a pipe dream, or something that odd.
Yeah.
They
a lot of people have called it like a mass hysteria, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
but do we know how long that bridge was up?
I actually don't know.
Was it brand new?
I don't know, but I can look it up. While we're talking, I'll look it up and give you the answer.
Well, that's kind of like what I was thinking too. I want to throw this out there. This is probably the more conspiracy side of it. Maybe the town wanted something for themselves.
So the bridge was built in 1928.
Built in 1928.
It was known as the Silver Bridge, and the Mothman sightings were December 16th-ish, 1966.
So how many years?
That'd be 40-something years.
40-something years instead.
Okay, so if it was just like I want to say prior to it being built, this happened.
Yeah.
I might say maybe they did it so they could because to this day people go there.
Yeah.
They want to see the sights and do all that.
There's a museum for it.
Yeah, that's what.
There's a big festival too, isn't there?
Yeah, so it brings life to the town. So that was the only reason why I said that. So there's a chance that it could be a mass hoax in that area.
I think to get to that, I mean, to see if it was driven by the idea of revenue, I think we'd have to look at the financial records of the town leading up to it.
That's true.
You know, maybe 5 or 6 years of financials to see how the town was doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But even then, I mean, do you think they hoaxed the collapse and risked the lives of their own people?
I mean, there's that. I mean,
was there any deaths in this?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh,
of
there
deaths.
was deaths?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was actually.
I'm gonna look that up.
I thought the whole thing
Okay.
I thought there wasn't deaths at all.
I know there was deaths and there was injuries. You know.
Okay.
And a whole lot of odd stories.
Then I apologize. That's I didn't have the facts on my.
Yeah.
I guess
I kind of came out of nowhere with this tonight too. So.
Well, that was my fault. It's such a big.
46 people, and the bridge actually collapsed December 15th, 1967.
No.
46 people died, or.
Yeah, 46 people died.
Okay, never mind.
2 of the victims were never found.
You know, leading all the way up to it, they say the Mothman occurrence happened all the way up to it and then stopped. There was claims that during the incident, the Mothman was seen above the bridge.
And apparently it was a single eye bar in the suspension chain that failed.
Wow.
It was something very minute. It wasn't anything prominent.
Yeah.
That seems odd. But okay, let me throw this out there too. Okay, not conspiracy, really happened. What is it about this place?
I don't know. I mean,
that's another thing too, is
water.
Water.
Water seems to be a constant in everything we talk about.
That's true, but there's so many the Great Lakes. Yeah. There's water everywhere, so yeah. I know it has to start somewhere. It has to start, but why stop there? And why ain't just in Kentucky?
That was the thing the question I kept coming to was, I mean, I'm not trying to sound insensitive, but why would Indrid Cold give a shit? I mean, why warn people? I mean, obviously, obviously it's not an evil thing, because if it's evil, wouldn't it just stand back and watch it happen? Right. Why reach out, and try to make contact and say hey, you might want to avoid this area. Why try to scare people away from it? So that's what kind of gets me is, mm-hmm. Why? What was the point? And then when this other David Christie, which I'm beginning to believe are one and the same, this David Christie starts emailing and contacting this group to go down and investigate the ongoings in Hellier. And you know what? I have a whole list as long as my arm of weird ass shit that happens in eastern Kentucky, especially since the coal towns are drying up.
Oh, yeah.
Or dried up. The coal towns dried up. Wildlife is reclaiming those lands. We've got wild boar. We've got a lot of big guy sightings. And we have game trails that are formed.
Aren't the black bears starting to move back in, too?
Black bears. There's all kinds of things going on down there. And, you know, what the hell is the show called? Finding Bigfoot.
Yep.
Or no, my bad. That's not right. It's Expedition Bigfoot, maybe. Yeah, Expedition Bigfoot or Expedition Sasquatch. I don't remember what it's called. Somebody out there can correct me. They actually went down there and spent an entire season exploring these coal towns and in the mountains around.
Have you guys ever been to Pike County or anything in that area?
No, never.
I have. And I kind of alluded to that when I gave the shout out on the last episode. My family graveyard is on Brushy Mountain in Pikeville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
It is desolate. There is nothing there. It is woods, mountains, and houses peppered throughout.
Well, I have to ask you your opinion of this. If a large creature was to be hiding there, do you think it's feasible? I mean, is it that desolate?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, because even recently, the last time I was in Pikeville, God, it was probably 30 years ago for a funeral.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've been down there. And, I mean, I went back to where my mom grew up, and it was dirt road still. You know, one-lane dirt road.
Yeah.
You might see a car a day, and it was just somebody that was local going to the grocery store or something. Once you get out of actual downtown Pikeville. You know, downtown Pikeville is kind of like some of the little small towns around here. They've got a Walmart. They've got the grocery stores and everything. But once you get up into the mountains, on the mountain roads, if you can drive good enough to get around the coal trucks, because let me tell you, if you've never been on these mountain roads with the coal trucks going out while you're coming in, that is an experience in and of itself. That's roller coaster worthy experience by itself. But recently, this year, I actually traveled to Topsail, which got me on the first episode, and that took me through Ashland and West Virginia on the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I've got pictures of some views of that. It's nothing but trees, as far as you can possibly see. And that's what I said is, unless you get off the beaten path, you think America is subdivisions, Walmarts, and interstate highways.
Yep.
But once you get out a little bit, like even out here, like I recently sent you guys a map, and I don't want to lead too much to a topic we're going to be getting into very soon. But the overhead view of that, did you see how much woods there was?
Yeah, it was very, very dense.
And that's here. This has nothing on out there.
I'm super excited for that, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
That's gonna be an incredible
big teaser. I'm really hoping that maybe I can convince him to do at least a call in for a little bit, just 15 minutes.
Just anonymous. I'll even filter the voice.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
We need that story.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this is so secretive. I don't even know it.
You do.
We know it.
You were part of the conversation.
Yeah, you were in there.
Yeah. We have a group message on Facebook that we're communicating on.
Yeah, it's a very secret, very secret message.
Yeah,
I don't even know what I send to it sometimes.
Yeah. But that being said, it is, I mean, nothing. It's trees and mountains.
Yeah.
It is dense, very, very dense.
Well, a lot of the stories coming from down there, especially the goblin sightings, you know, it's always near open, you know, caves or coal chutes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then when you start looking into the amount of caves and the cave systems and how they connect, and realize that they literally span the state.
Yeah. Well, we have half a dozen cave-themed recreational parks you can go to.
Yeah.
In Kentucky.
And then a while back, we researched big guy sightings around those places.
Yeah. Because Cave Run's pretty close to like Seven Caves and Mammoth Caves and all that, isn't it?
Oh yeah. The Cave Run. I mean, it's kind of odd. It's like I wonder. It's like, okay, is it just being around the cave? Is it kind of like the atmosphere, the spookiness of it? You know, is that what starts this or whatever? But the goblin thing really just jumped out at me. I'm like, that just seems such an obscure critter. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just weird. I mean,
yeah, it's just like when you hear goblin, like you immediately think of like any type of horror movie.
I think of Gremlins. I can't help it.
Gremlins
I literally think of Gremlins.
You feel like more of a mystical side of things, like I don't know, like it's hard, like
fantasy novels.
Yeah, fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
Like Lord of the Rings and stuff of that nature. So like it's hard to like picture that. I feel like we always like take it and look like, how could it exist here,
right.
And what was it before it came to be, like especially being a small human-like creature.
Yeah.
Like what was it before? Was it like scaly, or it's the whole, like you said, it was the sightings were in patterned with UFO sightings, right?
Yeah.
So,
the UFO sightings and the goblin sightings seem to go pretty hand in hand, and it makes you wonder, like, well, is that the passengers? Is that the guys? You know what I mean? Did they land somewhere and they're just like,
maybe it's just nomenclature. Is alien and goblin synonymous?
That there is that. I mean, if you look at the original pictures of how the Pikesville was described. Am I saying it was the wrong place? Hopkinsville, sorry. Hopkinsville. They were described with, ears and antennas. It almost looks like a suit. It looks like a helmet, Yeah. It looks like a helmet.
We need to start adding links to the podcast of pictures and,
absolutely.
The things we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because we're looking at a picture right now that they can't see.
Yeah. We're looking at a picture. If we save the picture, I can stick it on the website.
Yeah. Oh, that's easy enough to do. I can get that
so
to you.
Did they, has the, especially in this documentary, did they discuss, like, what people's sightings, like, was there any type of sketch or what it looked like? Did they have similar features other than the size?
They interviewed a few people, and some of the people, when they mentioned it, they said, hey, we've heard stories of goblins. And some of the locals were like, man, I've never seen that. I did find some odd footprints. One guy came out with, I found some odd footprints. Another guy said, well, I used to see UFOs all the time. It's like little pieces here and there, and here and there. But then, at one point they brought up some stuff to a group of townspeople, and they had every kind of sighting you can imagine. Like they were talking about, everything from ghost, awesome. Everything from like ghost to, Bigfoot to whatever, And I have heard it said before that, from folks who've claimed to have communication with the big guy, that the big guy is not a fan of UFOs and not a fan of the ones that drive them, or fly them, however you want to say that. But still, I found the whole thing very, very odd, and I keep coming back to the Mothman, and I can't help but wonder, because if you really look at everything laid out, the Mothman is truly unique in all of these stories.
Yeah, totally.
It is truly a one-off, because, I mean, how often do you hear of any of this stuff showing up and helping? And with the way the Mothman is described, big red eyes, wings, and
I kind of, now that you're saying this, and I'm looking at this picture here.
You're looking at the goblin, aren't you?
It's eerie how much the Mothman's drawn images
look
matches
like the goblin.
this. It's like a wingsuit on a goblin.
The only thing that's different about that is that they depict it having, like, kind of your typical moth wings.
Yeah.
No arms.
No arms, yeah.
No arms. Has, like, a torso, but, like, human-like legs.
The one thing that made me wonder about it is if that's a suit they're wearing.
The statue of the Mothman has arms.
Well, that was the one thing I was always told. Like I guess like I've heard and I've read, it has no arms.
No, he's got arms in his statue.
Well,
yeah, and I also heard I heard an encounter that was described where a man was passing into Virginia and had a large moth creature land on his car, and he was freaking out because it was just literally hitching a ride, and then it took off, and he just floored it, and he just kept going until he got to civilization.
I'm going to try to dig and find the original witness sketches.
Yeah.
And if I can find them, because I know I've seen them.
It would be nice to do a side-by-side.
And we could do, if nothing else, a side-by-side.
Yeah.
And put them in the links of the YouTubes or on Facebook.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know
even thought...
I don't know how many of our followers that follow us on YouTube and Spotify know that we're on Facebook. And
Yeah.
because the YouTube following is almost double what our Facebook is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think, too, if it's a suit, if it's a goblin in a suit, okay, I mean, I think, we're just theorizing here. If it's a goblin in a suit, what's to say that it's not a wingsuit? It's
right.
It's flying around. It's they know something. Maybe they're interdimensional like people think. Maybe they're whatever. I would like to know basically what happened to the Hopkinsville and counties. You know what I mean? Or contactees, I'll say. I'd like to know what happened to them.
And that's not far enough back that there isn't a possibility of finding somebody that knows them. The degree of separation is not there.
When I read into that one, they keep changing it. Like, there was a lot of people at that cabin.
Yeah.
There was, they said 5 adults and about maybe 7 children, and then they flipped it. There was more adults than there was children, and the children vary from 5 to 16.
Yeah.
And then the adults, I don't think they broke their 30s, or maybe I think some of them were in their 30s.
Right.
So there's a chance that definitely finding somebody that's still alive today. It
would be nice to just know what became of them.
I mean, very easily. It was 1955.
Yeah.
There's got to be somebody at least that heard the story from the family member.
But the one thing is that I would like to discuss if you think that the little people and the Mothman are kind of linked together in a certain way.
I'm wondering
what made them. Was it pure just what the heck is that? Shoot at it.
Yeah.
Or what was they doing? They say that they were climbing on the thing. It looked like they were trying to get inside of the building.
Well, that's kind of the thing that makes me wonder. I mean, there's a bunch of them. They're shooting at them and nothing's working, right? Why can't these things just come in? They were saying they were shooting at them and it was going through them, it wasn't hurting them. Well, why does a door stop them if a bullet won't? So there's some inconsistencies I wonder about.
I hate to say this, but that lines up with signs. They have a problem with pantry doors.
Why did they?
Oh my God, it does.
Why did they? You know what I mean? If they're there and they're surrounding your house and they're obviously tormenting you, you're freaking out, you're shooting guns, literally shooting through your own walls and doors to try to get rid of them. Nothing's working, yet somehow the windows and the doors just can't get through it.
Well, and the one thing I read or saw, I can't remember where it was, that when the guys saw them and they came running into the house, the people in the house didn't believe what the other guys had said they saw.
Yeah.
Until, I think it was the mother or the grandmother looked out the window and one of the things was looking in the window at her. And that's when the guys went and got the guns.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. There's some inconsistencies, and I almost thought hey, maybe something was going to happen. Maybe something bad was going to happen. Maybe they were there. Maybe they don't know how to communicate.
What we need to do is look up to see if there was any sort of an event that happened in Kelly, Hopkinsville, Kentucky
Yeah.
at that time.
Another thing too is we are making it seem just because these are intelligent, like if these are aliens, just because they're intelligent life forms that got themselves here, the way we do things could be totally different. So
yeah, it's true. It
so
could be
when
culture
they're
clash, you know.
It's the
So
three
when you're-
seashells.
like
Yeah.
it's
It's the three
basically
seashells.
like them crawling all over the thing. They might not. They're like, what is this material?
Yeah, it was like Douglas Adams, you know, the so long, thanks for all the fish, you know what I mean? It was like, we don't perceive that the dolphins jumping and, you know, twirling means that, you know, hey, the world's ending, so long, thanks for all the fish. We see it as, oh, look, they're jumping. You know, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a language barrier, you know.
Yeah, like
Indrid Cold just found a way to break through a little bit, you know. And, I mean, you think about it, you're driving along, giant winged thing with red eyes. I don't know about you fellas, but I'm probably going to wrap my car around a tree. I mean, I could see the panic.
There'd be a lot to take in all at once.
Yeah.
Especially at that time in America when you didn't have glorious things like podcasts that discussed cryptids on a weekly basis. You know?
Exactly. We're normalizing this stuff.
Yeah.
Which should be normalized,
it still
in my opinion.
It still freaks me out though.
Yeah.
I still think I get freaked out a lot more because we talk a lot. There's a couple times where I'm like,
Yeah. It makes you look around a little bit more.
makes you look twice.
Even the last, what was it, 2 times ago, episode 28, 29, when he walked out the garage door and the
Bigfoot,
the plywood Bigfoot spooked.
He's like, oh my God. That scared. I knew it was there and it scared
We
me.
wrapped recording. We had just taken pictures with it, and it still got him.
Yeah, I mean, there was one night we were, it was early in the morning. We were delivering. You remember the one they had, and it had the red lights they put in the eyes or whatever, Christmas lights or whatever. We backed up out of this long ass road, and they had one standing in the woods, and I knew it was there. And when I looked over at it, I'm like, oh God, it just got me.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, you bastards, that was a good one.
There's one on the way to work, the job I'm building right now down this road, that they have the same exact plywood cut out, but it's painted tan.
Yeah.
And he keeps moving it.
Oh, man. Dude, don't move it.
Come on. On the way home in the sunlight, I'm good. But, in the morning.
Yeah. I told Kat that I was thinking about getting one for out at the farm, but I haven't. I keep thinking about it, but I'm like, man, I do way too much Bigfoot research, and way too much listening to stories, reading accounts, reading encounters. And I just know that even though I put it in my own yard somewhere, the cedars everywhere, I just know I'm going to pull in and it's going to scare the shit out of me. And then I'm going to sit there feeling dumb about myself for a while. And I'm just like, I might order it next week. I don't know.
I've started moving mine.
Oh, you shouldn't move it.
He's in the front yard now.
Has your own cutout ever got you?
It did after the podcast.
See, I told you, it's the podcast.
The Monday morning I came out for work, groggy, and I always come out at the garage door, and I walked around, and it was a little dark. And he was leaned up against the old well pump, and he got me a little bit.
Yeah. Why do we do it to ourselves? Why do we do it?
It's fun. It's the excitement.
Imagine if you walked out and there was a big Mothman cutout. And you didn't put it there.
Right.
Somebody did.
Right.
Ah! You know what I mean? That's what I don't want. So, I definitely am never going to put a Mothman cutout anywhere.
Anywhere near.
Anywhere near. I don't want it. Even though literally my gut instinct tells me that the Mothman was not a malevolent thing. I think it was doing its best. But it wasn't, it wasn't able to stop the inevitable.
The only other thing I have to throw at it is we're not taking in consideration that it could be just some type of spirit,
I've heard people bring that up.
Like it's a one-off. It's something that over time it's just.
It really, to me, it has to do with how do you define a spirit. Like for me, I define a spirit as pure energy. And we always, like I've said this 100 times, we always talk about, life as we know it. But we never discuss life as we don't know it. Who's to say there hasn't been, following Einstein's way of thinking, that eventually we wouldn't even need our bodies anymore? Who's to say that there isn't an intelligent race that is pure energy? I mean, if you think about it, it would be a super efficient way to exist and collect knowledge and evolve. But would you be subjected to the same laws of gravity as us? And if not, then would you be subjected to the same side effect, which is time?
And if the energy is electric, think about how fast electric travels.
Absolutely.
So
sightings at all different areas at the same time, interference in different things.
And then you think about the speed of the UAPs that have been reported.
Yeah.
Pure energy.
So if it's sentient energy,
yeah,
they wouldn't be subjected to the G-forces.
No,
but
no.
What would keep it together, though? That's one,
I
don't get that,
I think for us, it's, right now, it's like, does anybody know what holds energy together now? You know what I mean? We don't really know. We don't really fully understand how energy really goes about its life.
It's something that's far beyond my
We know we
process.
We can create rudimentary energies, and we can definitely spend energies.
We still haven't been able to create perpetual energy.
We can't do perpetual without, the first law of thermodynamics pretty much shitting on our ideas all the time. You know what I mean? But there's that, though. I mean, a being of pure energy, where can it exist and where can't it exist? Where would be too much? How does energy, how is energy affected by, say, a black hole? An enormous gravitational pull. Does it get affected by it? If not, then wouldn't that be the ultimate quick doorway to anywhere you wanted to go?
That actually reminded me of something. There was a video a while back ago. They were, they were watching a black hole through one of the telescopes, and apparently they saw an object go across it, but didn't get pulled in. So that's what, and they were freaked out because everything gets pulled into that. Light gets pulled into, nothing doesn't get pulled into this. So what could have floated past it and not be fazed by it? So that's something on another level of, that breaks anything that we know.
Yeah.
What we know right now.
Wasn't it also within, the last 10 years, they've discovered, dark energy? You know what I mean? Or what's it called?
Dark matter.
Dark matter.
Yeah.
Dark matter.
And that was a science fiction thing.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah, dark matter, the God particle.
They were talking about they were talking about dark matter on Futurama. Mm-hmm. That was what powered the spaceship on Futurama, and that was well over 10 years ago. Sorry to make you guys feel old.
I already did. I already did before I even showed up. No, I mean, a lot of these things, like you say, they start in science fiction, and then we start learning. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm alluding to here, is that we're always learning. I think we go through figuring it out as we go, and by all standards, we're still pretty young on this planet. I mean, we're not that far out. We're not that far along yet. We still got a long ways to go. But what if there's a species out there, or what if there's a species right here? It's right here, and it's pure energy. And they say the big guy can do things. I've heard that too. I've heard the big guy can tap into things and send thoughts to you, and make you feel things. I think we worked on that with the infrasound, Mm-hmm. But also there's, I've heard a couple of accounts recently of calming feelings coming from the big guy. There was one story I heard where, I actually think I might have heard this on the on Steve's channel, the How to Hunt. I might have. I can't remember. I look at a lot of them. But this guy had basically found what he thought was an abandoned dog. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh my God, it was an adorable dog, and he's like, dude, why would anybody leave this dog out here? And when he went over to the dog was cowering and trying to get like under him, and hide. And he looked over, and there's the big guy standing there staring at him with this just enormously pissed off look on its face. And he literally froze, like, oh my God, oh my God. And he's sitting there, and he puts the dog behind him. And he's like, he said he just felt protective of it, like, I get behind me, And he said that when the big guy looked down at the dog and looked at him, its face, all the anger just went out of its face. And he said instantly he got a calming feeling, and it was almost as something in his brain said, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the ones that left him. And it literally turned and walked away. And he literally kept the dog, I think. I think he kept the dog. I don't know. But it was almost like it...
I hope he did.
It could... Yeah, I hope he did too. It tapped into something, like I'm not here to hurt nobody, but the sense of wrong and right, the
And you get that with people too.
Sure.
I don't know if you've ever met someone that, no matter how aggravated or how mad you are, you can have a 5-minute conversation with that person, and you're instantly relaxed.
Yeah.
They might not have the answers. They have a way about them.
A calming presence.
They can calm an entire room.
Yeah.
So suffice to say, anything that's sentient could possibly have that as well.
Oh yeah. The interesting thing to me was that in regards to these different creatures and such, on the Bigfoot thing, you kind of it has a spectrum as wide as ours. Like you said, some people can calm a room, some people are angry.
Yeah.
We've got the Mothman, or if you want to call him Injured Cold, who reaches out. And I could only imagine the tremendous amount of effort it would have taken to try to reach out. And again, why all the warnings? A lot of people were afraid of it. Of course they were. But what if we just don't perceive things the way we think we do? Or what if we don't see him the way his kind sees himself? I wonder. Because a creature that shows up flying and warns you of danger and looks out for you, it sounds akin to a guardian angel to me.
Right.
It doesn't sound like it's after you. It sounds like it's trying to save you. And if it's trying to save you, then we have a unique creature here. We have something that has a moral compass. And if it's a pure energy creature, how can that be? Because wouldn't your moral compass be guided by your chemical makeup? Your chemical releases and endorphins and things like that. Stuff that help you feel,
Yeah, because if we call this a creature, that I just don't see a creature going out of its way, like you were saying. No matter even if it can be like nice or something of that nature, like a dog.
Yeah. If
you walk across a dog could be nice and stuff, but if you're attacked or something like that, if you don't know the dog probably won't do much unless it's lived with you. It protects you. It creates a bond. So this is not a creature. This is something that actually has some type of feeling that's in them. Like it's actually has a thought, has emotion.
Sure.
And its emotions leading more to helping somebody than malevolent thoughts.
My thought too is, as I was researching this stuff, and when I started to wind down off of it, I was like, okay, I feel like I'm, maybe I have a personal belief a little bit more than I did going into it, but I started to think about it at the end, and I thought, hey, if anything, we could take a lesson from it. Mm-hmm. Hey, instead of us being so me, mine, and mine, maybe we could look out for the guy next to us a little bit more, a little bit more, look out. You see a guy about to trip, stop him, call it out to him, help him out. You know what I mean?
That kind of hits close to home for me because, dude, these freaking...
Me too.
Because, no, I've been on, I'm ashamed of myself. I'm on these Instagram and all that stuff.
No.
And then these random videos pop up and, okay... I saw, like, there was somebody, it was a police officer. She had somebody in the back seat of her car.
Yeah.
She had the window rolled down. Somebody was literally videotaping. The person was able to reach up and open up the door. But that person was just watching the whole thing. They, like, granted, she could have been innocent. I don't know. Whatever. But what if that was somebody serious that literally did something wrong? Yeah. You're just going to sit there and just film it and let them get away?
I saw something come through on the topic of police officer. Something came across my feed the other day, and it said that a famous person was out there saying, everybody has bad days, but if you're a police officer, you can't have a bad day. And I started thinking about that, and I'm like, well, congratulations on being very one-dimensional. Honestly, everybody has a bad day. No matter what suit we put on, what hat we put on, what name tag we put on, what badge we put on, we're human beings. Whether we're trained for a job or not, we're human beings first. So, I'm not going to sit here and say there isn't bad eggs. There's always going to be. But that starts with being a human being first. You know what I mean? I can't sit here and say that you are not allowed to have a bad day. Ever. Because something's going to happen. A family member's going to pass away. Something is going to go wrong. Your house is going to get foreclosed. Your things are going to happen. Your bills are not going to get paid sometimes. There's no stopping it. You're allowed to have a bad day. But if you choose to take it out on somebody else, that starts with being a human being. And there's where the problem is. It's not the suit you're wearing or the hat you're wearing. It's look at yourself for a second and say, I'm having a shitty day. Why would I want to spread this? You know?
I feel like a lot of cops, I feel like we're getting off of, a weird topic here, but I
do feel like they're linked. I do.
Yeah, but one thing is that I want to, say, and, throw my piece on this, is that you're going to have a bad day. There's already negative people out there that literally bring their hate into their job on this. Just don't add to it.
Don't add to it?
Don't add to it.
I always say, remember my saying?
Yeah.
I always said this. Be an asset, not an asshole.
I like it.
You know what I mean? Be an asset. And that's just being a human, you know? Be a good human to people and watch it come back. It will.
In a way, I feel like we, at this moment in time, we can all take a lesson to the Mothman.
Hell yeah.
Let's take a lesson.
I really think so, man. I want to be more like the Mothman.
Yeah, try and help your help the person next to you. Like he was saying,
can we start making shirts?
I want to be
quotes from the show on it.
Be more like the Mothman.
Be more like the Mothman.
Be like the Mothman.
I'm starting a campaign here, guys. I want to do awareness that the Mothman was actually trying to help. You know, I'm sick of the horror aspect of this. You know, I don't think the Mothman was after anybody. I don't think the Mothman was tampering with a bridge. A very obscure way to tamper with a bridge, in specific.
I'm just saying, have you ever seen a moth actually in water? I don't think he would have been able to get himself out.
Yeah, I'm saying,
just saying, if we're being technical on this.
You're in your car, you're driving at night, the Mothman lands on your car, you got headlights. You know, moths like lights.
Lights.
You can't turn on your porch light without a bunch of them. Not Mothmen, but, moths.
Yeah.
So, come on, if it was Mothman, I'd never turn on my porch light ever again.
You, have to take out the garbage late at night. You're getting pummeled by all of them. God dang it, Mothman.
As much as I want to champion the Mothman did a good thing or tried to do a good thing, I'm still not fully comfortable with seeing him on a regular basis,
That's true. It still would scare the shit out you.
Right.
No matter what.
But yeah, goblins, Mothmen, and UFOs all happening in Kentucky. And I don't know what it is, guys. Maybe it'll come later. Maybe it'll just ding in my brain at some point. I don't know, but for some reason it feels connected to me, and there's something there that I might be missing. Maybe somebody out there, maybe if you're listening to this, maybe you know what I'm missing here. Let us know.
Oh yeah,
put your 2 cents in. We have platforms everywhere. There's no shortage of ways to contact us now. But remember, if you do it through the KentuckyXFiles.com support page, which I'm very flattered that a lot of you are using that page, but remember to put your email address in there so I can, kind of shoot you a little, hey, thanks. Or
touch base.
Or touch base with you and check in on you.
On the show if you want to be.
Yeah.
Hit us up on Facebook. We will see the message.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And there was I had an automatic message, like answering people on there.
Yep.
I got rid of that because it was annoying.
It was very annoying.
I deleted that crap because it was like, I don't know, they could click a button that said, how do I listen? And it was supposed to just show them, like, here's all the links you need. It didn't. It just said, how do I listen?
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm like, what the hell's the point of this?
I saw a few messages where I was like, I thought you were having a stroke.
I literally went in there and deleted all that crap. So, you know what? I don't think we're going to go the automated route because it's apparently just too advanced. So, we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. If you write to us, we'll write back to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can get any of us now on the Facebook, by the way. I still don't know how or why the email isn't forwarding like it's supposed to be. I'll look into that and try to figure it out. But the Facebook does go to all of us. So if you don't get one, you'll get somebody.
And do just like any other letter you would do. Whoever you're trying to reach out to, put their name first. And then we'll take it upon ourselves to answer that.
Do not title it to the handsome one. We won't know which one of us you're talking about.
And it will start a fist fight.
Oh, God.
Yes. I feel
you're
like
the handsome
full
one.
on.
No, you're the handsome
I was just about to say we'll be too modest, so we'd be saying each other.
Full on wrestling match. Just
Yeah.
Indian burns. Oh, jeez. You guys don't want that. I don't want that on my conscience. Maybe the Mothman could stop it before it happened. That'd be great.
We need to be more like the Mothman.
Be like the Mothman.
On
Be
that
proactive.
subject, maybe people might laugh at this, but I want to do one last shout out.
Yep.
And like I said, you might laugh at me, but
I think I know.
Mr. Injured Cole, if you're out there, we'd like to hear from you. I would love nothing more than to have a long conversation with you. If you ever want to, you know where to reach us. I don't even think you need an email address, do you?
Or what's the other one that's been popping up?
David Christie.
David Christie.
I think is the same guy. Reach out.
Reach out.
Let us hear it. I'd love to know. I'm out here defending you. You can talk to us. Wouldn't that be an interesting episode?
Oh man, I feel like we would.
That would be one of those.
We'd be kidnapped.
That would be one of those nights where we would be. It would change forever after that.
The crappy thing is, I feel like would all be like staring like blankly at each other.
It would be really hard to figure out what to say or ask,
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I feel like we'd get through it. But yeah, Mr. Cold, if you ever feel so inclined to reach out, you have friends in us. We'll listen. And that goes to everybody. Do you have something you want to get off your chest? You've seen something, you experienced something. Let us know.
You have a subject you want us to talk about?
Absolutely.
Let us know.
Let us know.
We'll do some research.
Dive into it.
New cryptids. I would love to hear new cryptids.
Absolutely. Yeah, anything paranormal, alien, cryptids.
I'll tell you one that's... I don't mean to do this. I know we're nearing the end of this episode, but I tell you what, man. The dinosaur sightings thing...
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Is really intriguing. I want to talk to somebody. I want to talk to someone who saw a dinosaur. Not because I'm critiquing them. I'm just insanely jealous.
I hope that our listeners out there don't be buttholes and, well, I saw a crocodile. It's like, shut up.
Everybody sees crocodiles.
Our listeners are better than that.
Yeah,
They know there's alligators in Kentucky.
I feel like now since I said that, they would totally do it just out of spite.
Wrong continent.
Yeah. We'll deserve it if they do.
Wrong reptile.
Yeah, they'll correct us. Yeah, our listeners are out there. Especially, I really do love the YouTube comments because I love that they're right alongside us. You know, they're right along there with us, and I love when they point out things that they found funny. What was it? Maniacs, who comments on there every now and again. Mindy, she pointed out the other day that we put a second part of the mead episode just because we wanted to drink more mead.
She's right.
And I was like, you saw through us just like nothing.
We are currently enjoying mead.
We are.
And obviously we're recording all this stuff in advance, but tomorrow is actually National Mead Day.
We're celebrating.
So we're celebrating Mead Day.
Yeah.
You know, it's an excuse to drink more mead.
By the time you hear this, Mead Day will have come and gone like a winter day.
Crisp and refreshing.
Is that a bird?
God, we need to invest in sound effects.
I feel like I'm doing a great job.
There's a lot of birds. It's all of a sudden, don't birds like go south?
It's still summer.
I'm just saying, they're not even real. We went over this.
They're drones.
They're drones.
I don't know.
Somebody, let me show you guys this. Hopefully she sent it to me. My daughter found a diagram of how the bird drones are put together.
You sent it to us.
Yeah, you sent it to us.
Okay.
But that actually looked like it was...
Yeah, Dad, you told us.
Yeah, Dad.
You told us.
And I hope our listeners get that obscure reference I just did.
But yeah, the picture looked more like they took birds and added tracking devices and whatnot. They don't look like full on.
We need to put that on the Facebook page. And anybody that's listening to us on YouTube that doesn't follow us on Facebook needs to, so they can see all the nonsense we post on there.
Yeah.
Or another thing too, if you have, I don't condone knocking these birds out of the sky, but because I still believe that they're actually real live birds. But if you have one that's down and it looks mechanical, send that picture to us.
Get us a picture of that.
Yeah, I would love to see that. If that's true, and please, I'm having faith in our viewers, but if some random butthole comes along and listens to this and sends us some toy picture, I'm going to be upset.
If I was them, I would
absolutely
do that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm posting the picture of the bird drone diagram. Cybird. Dude, did we just invent that?
No, they did. The government.
Damn it.
Well, they made the critter, but we gave it its name.
Yeah, we gave it its name.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Cybirds.
Because they're denying it. They're like, nah, man.
That ain't me.
We don't make bird drones, man.
We want to hear all the guys talking to themselves on the street corners. That's why we made them.
I'm putting the picture on the Facebook right now.
So is that all we got tonight, guys?
That's pretty much all I have. I got some other things I'm working on, but I don't think they're near ready to even bring up.
No. We got some exciting things coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have the names to drop yet. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to yet, but I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm. Can you tease it a little bit?
So yeah, I can tease it a little bit.
Why did you sound so? Can you tease it?
Sorry. I feel that way.
So I have a contact at a paranormal research group that is supposed to be investigating the Octagon Hall in Kentucky.
Outstanding.
And
Awesome.
I'm really hoping that I can convince her to come on for a short interview at least on the phone and tell us about her findings.
I really want to know what this place is. I've never heard of it.
It's Civil War era stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
it's like some type of building that was it used in the Civil War?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it's currently a museum as well.
It's a museum. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but it was used during the Civil War, and I'm hoping she can fill us in on all the details.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully. I don't want to drop her name yet because I don't have permission to do so. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Good teaser.
I hope this pans out.
Well, yeah, guys.
Fucking amazing. I can't wait.
I can't wait too. It's good that we actually we're branching out. It seems like we're getting great feedback on all of it, so I'm glad to hear we're getting.
Oh yeah.
We're getting like we're glad that you're liking the content. So yeah, thanks for the good wishes all around. So we'll catch you on the next one.
Take